Hey, what's up everybody? This is Damron. We're playing Gears 5. This is part of my Master Escape series, which brings us to Operation 4, the newest map, the Malfunction. So let's look at the modifiers in this map. We've got a regen penalty, so our health is going to regenerate slower. We've got freezing peacemaker bullets, so the enemy shepherds are going to shoot freezing bullets. That's no fun. We've got shock snipers, so enemies attacks from the snipers are going to cause shock damage. Vampiric enemies, so when they damage you, they gain health pack. And we've got some usual suspects, more health, more lethal, and Iron Man. Also remember, as I mentioned in some of the newer videos, they mentioned when Operation 5 comes out, they're going to separate class from characters, so you're going to be able to play any class with any character when Operation 5 comes out. So the characters that I'm showing you are the classes that you want to use. So the characters that we're bringing in here are Kate. You want to be sure she has her shotgun damage as high as possible with the bleeding damage that causes extra damage and just everything shotgun. And then we've got Foz, who's going to be good because there's a lot of M-bars on this level, and he's going to be using a lot of his M-bar skills. And we've got Keegan as well for extra explosive damage. So this level is pretty challenging, and it's relatively long. It's a lot of DBs. So as soon as you come up that ladder there, don't sprint, just start walking around because there's going to be a lot of rejects that we want to execute. You want Keegan to mark the enemies because it's going to help your other enemies or your other teammates get your ultimates faster, right? He has the ability to help all your allies get their ultimates faster if he's marking enemies. But once we come up to this ammo room that's on the left hand side, there's going to be a shotgun and an enforcer. So I'm going to pick up both of those weapons, and really I'm getting a lot of ammo for my shotgun, but I'm also filling up the enforcer at the same time. So I'm grabbing all the ammo pouches, and then I'm going to drop the enforcer for my teammates, and now Kate has a shotgun. Now we're entering into the first battle. And there might be a couple more rejects in this room right in front of us. Sometimes there's a couple, sometimes there's one, sometimes there's none. But nonetheless, we're going to go ahead and head up into the next area, and it's a little bit variable here. You may get some large DR1s that come at you with overkills and or salvos, or you're going to get the spawn with the 2 bastions. And if that spawn, which is what we're going to have, you're going to have some grenadiers to deal with, and you've got obviously M-bars in the back, as well as some of those trackers that are going to be walking on the ground there. So be sure you keep an eye out for them. So with Kate, what you want to do is you really want to focus on the the bastions as quickly as possible. So her shotgun's going to be able to do significant amount of damage to bleeding enemies. So you can see once I get him bleeding, I'm able to take down the bastion pretty quickly, and now I can focus down these grenadiers. Again, there's going to be 2 bastions, so make sure you take those out as fast as possible. The bastions are your priority when you enter this room. You're going to have trouble until you take them down. So you want to take them down as fast as possible. If the spawn is the DR1, it's a little bit easier, honestly, because you can just sit back and kind of shotgun the enemies as they come at you, and you don't have to worry about the bastions. But you have to be very, very careful with these peacemakers, okay? Those freezing bullets will kill you very quickly, and because they have freezing bullets, they're going to do a lot more than just damage you. If they freeze you, you're instantly going to be frozen and killed. So you have to be very careful there. And what we're going to do after we've kind of killed those enemies, there's going to be some sniper deadeye type DBs back here, and they're all going to be having M-bars. So this is what Foz wants to pick up. There's going to be plenty of M-bar ammo on this level, so Foz wants to be picking all that up. There is a fan over here to the right that you want to activate. The Venom moves very fast on this level and catches up to you very quickly because you don't really traverse that much distance in between your fights. So you really need to hit this fan to give you the proper amount of time to move forward. As you can see, we're already in the Venom. So this map is pretty challenging because you have to move with pace, and there's a lot of enemies to deal with. Each room has a significant amount of DBs and enemies that you're going to have to take out. So we're going to sit here in the Venom here, and Keegan's going to drop us some ammo. Now, if you do get the DR1 spawn in that room behind me, then that's good because, one, it's a little easier, but also you're going to get an overkill for Kate. Eventually, you'll get an overkill for Kate on this level, and that's going to make things extraordinarily easier because the overkill with Kate is extraordinarily helpful. So as soon as you come into this next room, we want to get to this room on the left-hand side. All right, this is going to give us the most cover from the enemies that we're going to have to deal with. So there could be some Deadeyes in here or just some Peacemakers, but you want to take those out as quickly as possible so that you have this room to kind of sit back in. Once you clear out this room, you can kind of head up to this window and you're going to be able to get some shots on some enemies. Unfortunately, I think I go down by a tracker here, but I wasn't paying attention, so keep an eye on those trackers that are coming in because they can down you if you're not paying attention, right? So he's going to pick me up here. This DR1 was bleeding out, so that's good. We've taken him out, and there's a lot of DR1s in this section. There's going to be 3 or 4. One of them can be a tri-shot. The others are going to be overkills. So obviously, Kate, as soon as you can get a chance to get those overkills, be sure you grab those. There's a lot of ammo pouches on this level too, so that's very helpful. But again, look, keep an eye on these shock trackers. They're going to be coming in. Also, sometimes when you kill them, they will drop shock grenades. So if you want to, keep an eye out for those, you can as well. So again, we've got another DR1 here. The range on the overkill is much better than the actual shotgun, and if you have the right cards, the stability of it is going to make it very easy. Now with the overkill, keep in mind you don't have to just press the trigger and immediately fire 2 shots. You can press the trigger and hold it and wait until your aimer is in a better position and then let go for the second shot, and that's more efficient than just blasting away. So you'll see me kind of do that. You'll see me hold it, shoot, hold the trigger, because when you shoot, when you let go of the trigger, it shoots a second shot. And if the first shot puts bleeding damage on them, the second shot's going to do significantly more damage with Kate if you wait a second and make sure you have as much of your reticle on the enemy as possible. So that room's not too bad. It's the last room before the safe room. So we're going to go ahead and advance up here, and we're going to get through here and get into the second act. So we're going to go ahead and speed this up a little bit. Now at this point, there's been plenty of ammo boxes. So Foz and, Kate should really have full weapons. Should have full shotgun, full overkill, and full M-bar, and possibly a marks for him. But really, Keegan's trying to keep an eye out for a salvo. The salvo is what Keegan wants to pick up. Sometimes you're going to have DR1s that have salvos in the last room we're in. Sometimes you're not. But eventually you're going to get to a room that has salvos, and that's where Keegan's going to be able to pick those up and contribute significantly. Now, as soon as you come out of the safe room, you're in a pretty challenging room because there's going to be a Guardian in here. We like to just keep Foz and Keegan kind of back, and he can snipe and kind of do what damage they can from afar. I'm going to go ahead and go downstairs with Kate, and I'm going to do as much damage as possible. There's going to be snipers in the back, but there's also, you can see there, Hotshot using Foz is very effective. He got a headshot, and with that headshot explosive card, where a headshot makes people explode, it does significant damage to the enemies around him. So he pretty much killed the majority of those Deadeyes, and I'm trying to focus on all these rejects coming up. There's a lot of rejects, okay? So you have to be pretty efficient as Kate here and take these out as fast as possible, because there's a bunch of them, and they can overwhelm you pretty quickly if you're not taking them out efficiently. So you want to just take these out as quickly as possible, and then you can now focus on the Guardian. Once you've gotten all those Deadeyes out of the way and the rejects out of the way, so again, Foz was taking out those Deadeyes, Kate's taking out the rejects, and now we just want to, focus our attention on this Guardian and try to take him out as quickly as possible. So I was able to get some bleed damage. Unfortunately, this Guardian kept running around this back circle here and just kept running away from us, which was kind of annoying. But obviously he's going to be facing the direction of a player, and the other players can shoot the Guardian in the back. I'm just trying to get a shot on him with Kate. If you can get the bleed damage with Kate on the Guardian, you'll be able to pretty much take him down. So I think I'm going to potentially get it here, maybe. But this Guardian can kill you pretty quickly, so keep that in mind. So there you go. He's going to bleed out. And we're going to move on. So Hotshot's finished him off there with the Marksa, and we're moving on. Again, keep an eye out for plenty of ammo pouches. There's plenty of ammo pouches on this level, which is a very nice thing, because you don't really have to worry about ammo. Feel free to expend that ammo and just shoot away, because you're always going to be able to, keep it up. And also, Keegan, he picked up an overkill and kept it for me as a full overkill that he could drop a little bit later on, because there was so many ammo pouches. So we're moving on here. We're going to go onto the right hand side, and you can see that there's another vent in the second room. This is a pretty nice room, because what we're going to do is we're going to kill these rejects here. There's going to be 2 or 3 rejects in this room, but you can also, you see those shutters on that window, you can actually shut those shutters. There's switches next to the wall there, and what we're going to be able to do now, so you can see Keegan is shutting the shutters, and now Foz can use his ultimate. Falls' ultimate allows him to snipe through walls. So he uses ultimate and headshots all the enemies, and he's able to kill a bunch through the wall before we even really come out into this section. So now we've got a DR1 coming. I'm going to take him out. That finally is going to be it looked like a salvo for Keegan. So we finally got Keegan a salvo maybe. But, you know, be careful advancing up here. There are a lot of Deadeyes, and those freezing Deadeyes, or the freezing Peacemakers, I should say, can really end your run pretty quickly. Also, the fan over to the left-hand side, again, you want to be able to hit that. You're not traversing much area on this map, so that Venom's going to catch up to you really quickly. Alright, so make sure you hit that fan, especially on Master difficulty. Now there's also a med bay here, but unfortunately on Master difficulty that's not going to help you, or I guess just to say anytime you have Iron Man on, because you know, if you don't have Iron Man on, if you use the med bay, when everybody dies, you'll actually respawn in the med bay. It's kind of like a free life. But if you have Iron Man on, you're not going to be able to use that. So we're on to the final room in this level, and this is a very challenging room. There's a lot of enemies. So what I'm going to do with Kate is I'm going to run immediately to the right hand side. That's going to give me a vantage point to kind of look, as you can see, up onto the next area here. I've got a pretty clear line of sight, so I'll be able to have shots on enemies, which is very helpful. And then Foz and Keegan are staying up on high ground, and you know, Keegan is going to be using his now his newly acquired salvo, and Foz is going to be continuing to use his embark. So you do need to pay attention, if you're Kate, to enemies that may head to that window that you see right to my right there. If they come to that window, they're going to have a shot on you, so you're going to need to fall back. Obviously take priority on the bastions. Okay, so right here, if it gets too close and I didn't have a shot on that bastion, I'm going to move back to this box here. But what I'm waiting for is just an opportunity to take out this bastion. Once you be able to get shots on that bastion, now I can focus on these DR1s. Kate, with the overkill, can take out these DR1s very efficiently to get them off the board. But when I have an opportunity, again, I'm going to head up back to that corner. Foz is to the back sniping, but I'm using this vantage point to get as many shots on enemies as I can. Once I get that bleeding damage, it really devastates them. And the good thing about the overkill is it has very good range. The damage drop off on the overkill is not that bad, so you can see I can actually shoot enemies from quite a distance. You know, this bastion unfortunately is hiding behind the big shield, and that is actually a stump. So we have a pretty big enemy to deal with right now. So we're gonna, you know, push back a little bit. You saw that Peacemaker was in the window that I was telling you about. They can jump out of the window and cause you problems. So I've kind of fallen back a little bit, and I'm just gonna keep using my overkill from a distance. We're taking our time here. That's the reason you have to hit that fan, because there's so many enemies here that you just cannot push forward too quickly, or those freezing Peacemakers will destroy you. Alright, so you have to take your time here. So it looks like Foz is taking out the bastions. So now we're trying to get just some bleeding damage on the stump here. So I'm going to move back up. I'm going to try to get some shots on this stump here, put a lot of bleeding damage on it, and then move back. And then Malicious just lit it up with the salvo, which gives 25% bleeding damage with Keegan. So you can see all the combinations of these characters is giving us enough bleed damage to efficiently take out this room. It is challenging, don't get me wrong. This is a very tough section, and you're just going to need to take your time. But if you position your characters where I'm showing you, that's really the best possible, you know, setup to kind of get through this level. Once you've cleared out enough enemies, you can kind of move up, and there's going to be a lot more ammo pouches in this room here on the right. So again, don't feel free to, you know, expend all of your overkill ammo with Kate. You know, don't be hesitant to fire away, because you have to take out all those enemies, right? So we're going to jump in here. We're going to grab these ammo pouches, a couple more Peacemakers to deal with, and we're almost to the end of this level. So it's not too bad. I mean, it is challenging, but it's not too bad with this character setup. It's going to be able to get the first map of Operation 4 mastered, and we're moving on. That's the last section there before the exit, which you can see ahead. There generally will be a couple more Peacemakers back here to deal with right before the exit, but generally only two. You see how fast you can be frozen and killed. Malicious just got frozen and killed by that Peacemaker. So now it's just me and Hotshot for the final exit. So you still have to be careful, even a couple enemies. I mean, they can freeze you and kill you so fast, all right? So ideally what you want to have is you're going to have Keegan back here. He's going to use his ultimate and just fire away his salvo, because he can stand in his ultimate and get ammo for his salvo and just basically keep firing. Kate's going to kind of stay by the doorway and shotgun away, and Foz is going to sit back and snipe whatever he can. So this ending could be a little bit easier if you have Keegan left. That was kind of an unlucky situation there to lose him right at the end to two dead eyes. That was just very unlucky. But still, as long as you're kind of staying to the left with Kate and just kind of shooting the enemies as they're coming through the door, you still should be okay. So I'm going to use my ultimate here because my buddy went down. Just going to revive him, and we're going to finish off the last enemy, and that's going to wrap it up for the Malfunction. So this is a very fun map to play. I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you found the guide helpful. As always, if you like my stuff, feel free to like and subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you in the next Gears 5 escape map on Master Difficulty.